So very originally, the first point on our list is the long-range colloquium. And I think next colloquium is actually in 3 weeks' time because it's Thanksgiving next week. So the status for that is that we have an abstract and title, and registration is open. And I haven't organized a Zoom test yet with the speaker. Is there something else we should be doing now?
Should we?
No?
Sorry. Should we explicitly tweet about the break? As in that we skip one, like, yeah.
If we did, maybe I would do
Sorry,
it
what
more in
is
the style of Happy Thanksgiving to everybody.
At the same time, of course, I'm not sure. So once every 2 weeks is so yeah, probably people would notice a 1 month break. So I mean, doesn't hurt to tell that we are still on it.
Yes, PR wise, it makes sense, right? Better to have one extra tweet that says Happy Thanksgiving, etc., than just silence.
Yeah. And then also accordingly, probably after announcing Deirdre's colloquium, it makes sense to say that this is the last colloquium before the winter break.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, and we still need to remove Jennifer's registry, or I mean, we need to move the.
Yeah, I will do it now.
We need to move Jennifer to the bottom of the page. Okay.
Yeah, I think that was my job, but I haven't done it yet.
Yeah, that's fine. Okay, so I would say for the colloquium, that's all, because then normally we would send out the email and the tweet next week, 2 weeks in advance. So we're on track. And which brings us to the speaker's corner.
Sorry, just a moment. Another quick point about the long-range colloquium. We are lagging behind on publications of videos. And I would appreciate parallelization there. So, so I would like to propose first of all, I'm not sure if you noticed, but unfortunately, when one checks out the boxes on the issue, GitHub does not generate a notification. So I propose to rephrase the last action point in the colloquium checklist with first of all an instruction to respond to the issue, so that there is an email generated about the speaker approving the points, the video. And second, I would like just to save, so I would propose to either distribute the uploading, and I'm happy to provide some instructions about how to cut off the start and the end of the talk, or in order to make the process more efficient, I would like to ask the person who responds to the issue to write the timestamps of the beginning and the end of the video. So usually the beginning and the end have some irrelevant parts which are nice to cut off instead of publishing the raw thing. So I would like to suggest that we do that.
So how
fair.
about we say that the person who is the one who is like responsible for that given colloquium also then publishes the video? I myself
I like that. Yes.
I myself need to catch up on this because I think I still don't have access to our YouTube account. So I will reach out to you, Babak, afterwards. And let's just make it all in one. The one person who is in charge that week just handles everything, if that sounds good.
It's still quite nice if Anton can cut the beginning and end, because I don't know how you do it, or if you can provide instructions on how
I can
to do it so
provide
it does not
instructions
take
on how.
a very long time. Because if you use software,
Yes, I actually there's
yeah.
so yes, I will provide a brief instruction, but let me actually already share the command, because let me see. I'll copy the thing in the document. Right, as a quick thing, command for cutting, trimming, beginning and end. And it's cryptic, but no, what? Hold on. I don't know what I selected, but it's not it. All right. Yes. So it's, yeah. Here you see it. The first time you see is the start time in seconds. The second time you see is the end time in seconds, and the two file names are the input and output. So basically, the whole thing amounts to installing ffmpeg library on your system and running this command in a terminal.
On your Linux system.
No,
Or
ffmpeg runs
also Windows.
everywhere. I
Okay,
think.
I will
FF
figure it out.
Windows. Yep. There are executable files for Windows.
Yeah.
Yes.
You do need to install the FFmpeg.
Yeah, right. You need to install ffmpeg, but then yes. The advantage of this, I'm sure there are other options, but the advantage of this is it's not fancy, but it's dead simple. Just yes.
Yeah.
And download the video. Yes. I'm also happy to sit down with any one of you if you want to try it out for yourself. All right, so let's adjust. Yeah, okay. There's also a preparation studios. All right, very good. So then the last point I cut because these are the instructions. No, but we do need to migrate these instructions to the checklist. All right. Sorry about this. I remember it.
What about the speaker's corner?
A lot.
Yes.
Yes. So I attended all the 4 Speakers Corner talks, and I have one of our latest speaker is right here, and I would like to share some observations. So first of all, one should not. So it's hard for people to follow instructions. just because it is after all overwhelming to give a talk in a new software and to manage everything. So, for example, out of 4 speakers so far, 2 needed a reminder from my side to start a recording.
Right.
So,
But then us back to the point of whether the recording should started automatically.
right, yes. So that is indeed a consequence of this observation. We can revert to starting the recording automatically. Indeed. So that is an option. And instead tell to people that they should be so the annoying thing is if they stop the recording and start it again, for example, there will be several files generated and then it's harder to treat this case. Well, okay, no, I guess it's fine. So we can instruct them that
But
they
then
can pause the
there could be an
recording
instruction that
Yeah, anyway,
Yeah,
you
exactly.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we're going to trim the beginning and the end anyway, right? So it's just a question of what time.
Yeah, sure, that is true.
Yeah, so I actually wanted to ask about this. Is this because I thought this like automatic thing was publishing the videos right away, but that's not true. Someone actually looks at it and trims the beginning and end of the recording.
Well, so far nobody yet does this. So,
Right.
so I think a reasonable way to organize it is indeed to ask the speakers to tell at what time the recording starts and ends, and then from that to publish the videos. That is still to be implemented. However, we are well on the way.
So how would the speaker know the timestamps?
Right. So the idea is when the video is ready, we send the speaker a link to their video. This link is available, but not so it allows to access the video, but without yeah. After that, the speaker responds to the issue with providing the timestamps and with confirming that they approve the recording. And then finally, the bot should publish the video. So far, that part is so far missing, but that would be one of the next steps in implementing the whole thing.
But the bot can do the trimming, right?
The idea is then the bot does the trimming, which amounts to running the command.
Mm-hmm. Okay, sounds good. So by the way, what was, I actually missed the first couple minutes of today's Speaker's Corner talk. What was the issue today?
For some reason, the way our scripts work is they run a task every hour. Like starting at 4 minutes to the hour. And the idea is that around 5 minutes, the room is opened for people to join. And for some reason, but there's no guarantee that this task will start exactly at the specific time. So right now, we So for some reason before Vala's talk, the script ran too late. There is a way to improve on that by switching to a place which does the same thing with task guarantees.
Actually, I had tried to enter the talk before five before the hour.
Yeah, you know, that's right. It was late. So
No,
the
no, but
script
oh, it's an hour
Yeah.
before when it starts.
The script started running at 57 instead of 54.
Gotcha.
I checked the timestamp afterwards.
I mean, I think I started getting into it in the early 50s on the hour. I wonder if the fact that should it matter if I'm attempting to connect?
No, it doesn't make a difference. So what happens is we cannot. If one meeting is running, people will not be able to join another meeting. So we should not be just having these meetings open perpetually. So we only allow people to join the meeting when it's about to begin.
Yeah.
And that is a manual action that requires switching something.
Yeah.
Which brings, so there was another problem, which that one was a really bizarre bug in Zoom. I'm not sure what has happened. One of the registrants for the other talk today, somehow something went wrong with the registration, and that poor person didn't have a first or a family name. But that broke our scripts because the email wasn't sent, the reminder email to the participants.
Interesting.
So that's another irregularity, but this one is sufficiently mild. I will just implement the workaround. Another problem appeared, which is now something I would like to discuss. So the next speaker of the week made an incorrect calculation of time zones. It happens and accidentally scheduled the talk during another local activity. So, and I know this because he's from my group. So I suggested to reschedule the meeting, and he just opened 2 pull requests for doing this. But so one with updating the schedule, and another one with sending an announcement email to the participants. So so I wonder if that is an okay thing to allow, for example.
So is he requesting to reschedule to just an hour later or before?
Correct, yeah.
Yeah,
You're
so
asking-
thinking about this as a generic problem that might arise, I think our solution needs to be something that covers the situation generally, right?
Yeah, but so at the same time, it's also not a regular situation. So it may allow some manual work. So I imagine that usually if people write, so my idea, so in this case, of course, I was able to instruct the person because I have a direct contact. But in general, my proposal would be that we mention to people that if they have any problems or they want to get in touch, they should reply in the issue. And then they would write to us, hey, I have a problem, scheduling conflict, what do I do? And we then ask them to write an email announcement by opening another issue and do the rescheduling manually.
Mhm.
Does that sound,
There
I
are
mean,
two
it's
things that are affected. One is that people have registered, presumably.
right. So,
And
so
so
we
then
do
they
email
have
the
to
registrants.
reschedule their time.
Of course, yes.
Yeah, but they may not be available anymore, right? Yeah.
Yeah, sure. In that case, they don't show up. That's the drawback. Yes.
Yeah. Mhm.
I mean, meaning we could also be stricter, but I imagine people don't reschedule on a whim also.
Yeah, there's no sense in being strict. I mean, if the speaker cannot make it and we force them to hold the talk, then there simply will be no speaker. So that doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I'm not thinking about, if the speaker can't make it, then the talk can't go ahead. But for example, another option could be to reschedule for 2 weeks later, or something of that sort, so that
But yeah,
people also have time to, if it's like a week from now, maybe I can do it. But if it's a few days or tomorrow, then it's harder for me
I
to
see.
adjust my schedule to attend.
Yeah, that of course. So that that is less manual work for us, but at the same time, I think it is a worse experience both for the speaker and for the audience. I mean, we can certainly reschedule and delete the talk. That's no problem. But I would actually so I think the recommendation to contact us if they know that something doesn't work and via the issue and to ask for options, I think that's reasonable.
I entirely agree. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's reasonable. Yes, and maybe we can have both options, like reschedule and send a notification, or if you want, you can delete this one and start a new one.
Right. Yes.
So I agree that we should be flexible. Just one comment I want to make for like the other side of this. I think that, yeah, basically what Anton, you're proposing is like a good middle ground. I wouldn't put like a detailed cancellation like instructions into the website, because then, then people will just reschedule all the time. Like it should be like a thing that, it's a thing that you actually need to like contact us and do something. So then it's a lot for us also. So it doesn't sound like people can like schedule the talk 5 times before it actually happens.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. No. That okay. Yeah. That seems fair. I would not advertise this option. Sure. Just say contact us if there are any problems.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
So I also missed, did we agree on, yeah, we will have the talks automatically recorded. So actually these are all action points. Also, yes, all right. Let me see if there's anything else. Yes, I already shared this during the last meeting, but as I'm not sure what's the best way to reach the speaker and to make it clear, but it's very easy to have only extremely few attendees. So I think we should make a clear recommendation to approach their colleagues that they know may be interested in attending the talk. And say for the people from my group, I have actually started doing so, and nice to catch up with people. But this is also, I think, this is contained in the pull request that Delishka has opened.
Yeah, I think we were having discussion about that there. Like I was thinking that it would be enough just like to really highlight that instruction point. But like if you think it makes sense adding one more sentence that like, or we can just put some wording like we strongly encourage or something like that.
All right. Okay. So perhaps it's good to be specific here. Let me read the proposed text so that we can already merge.
Yeah, thanks.
So so I'm looking now at the pull request, and I share the link in chat if anyone is interested. So right now the text says announce, just in the action point says announce the meeting to your colleagues and invite them to register for the talk. There's a, yeah, and there's a separate bullet point about the Twitter. However, this does not include the motivation. So I'm wondering if it's worth. So we do write it in boldface, but I'm wondering if it makes sense to do more.
Can we provide a template invitation or announcement email to them? Make it easy.
Oh, that's a good one. Yes. So that's a good idea. Not sure. At the same time, if we are thinking of a person approaching their colleagues, do they need a template?
I mean, it just makes it easier. Like you copy paste, change a few words, and off it goes.
Yeah, like oftentimes people will send it to some university mailing list. They are not necessarily like best friends with everyone on the list, right? It will just be some standardized formal invite, most probably. Not.
Right.
Yeah.
And it could be, it could also be that people who are less experienced, I mean, that's another barrier to advertise your talk now, and what language to use, and maybe you don't have the best.
Yeah, that's also a good point. That is true, because so it may help people to avoid awkwardness and procrastination in writing the announcement. Both are great points. So let's then prepare a template that they may use as a starting point. But okay, shall we in the meantime merge Elishka's update, because it also contains the Twitter instructions, and then let's open another issue in plan fixing. I'm going to merge the description updates.
Yep,
Thank you,
perfect.
Anton.
Thanks.
I am wondering, maybe this link to the announcement email, it will partially solve the problem that you brought up now, because if we also explicitly link the email, then it's pretty clear that we expect people to announce it.
Yep,
I had very hard time, like I didn't want to sound like patronizing, and I had hard time like finding the right sentence to say this.
Yeah, that's another good point. Yes. That sounds great. Yes. Let's just be sure that the proposed email template contains something like, by the way, Virtual Science Forum is absolutely fantastic. I mean, maybe there's a chance they just don't notice it.
Yeah.
You could include at the beginning of every talk a pre-recorded video of one of us describing how awesome Virtual Science Forum is.
Yeah. We can all say we won, and then we win.
Yes. All right. So that that part I really like. Let me see. Anything else about the Virtual Science Forum? Sorry, about the Speakers Corner. I think that's it on my side.
Yeah, the experience.
Yeah.
Fine. There was no issues. I guess there was some. Maybe we should tell the. I don't. Do we ever? Don't remind me. Do we tell the speaker that they should arrange with the? Or they should arrange to tell their audience about how they want to do Q&A and stuff like that?
Yes, that's a great point. Let me see what we actually tell to the speakers.
That was a point of.
Yes, that is a point of confusion.
Yeah.
So let's see. Checklist. During the meeting, start your presentation, aim for a 40-minute. There is nothing about announcing the Q&A.
Okay.
That's another important point. We should also require that people reply to the checklist, and they reply with an affirmative statement that they will follow the checklist. We now only ask about the meeting URL, but we should also make reminders, or we should also ask for an affirmative response. Another thing, sorry, I had another idea, something that which we can consider adding, which is not sure how polite or friendly it is, but we could send the person an email a few days ahead saying how that they have this many registrants so far.
You should totally do that.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. A few days ahead.
Basically, I think most people will be diligent enough to start advertising, but people may forget. So,
yeah.
Could it be customized a little bit? Like if there are less than 10, like encourage them a little bit
right. So that is easy to make. We can indeed use different templates for different settings, and here I would appreciate. This should be tracked via our different repository. The automation, all the email templates are in automation, and we should create an issue there. And please contribute your ideas for formulating the reminder.
Sounds good.
So one question, I know I have access to that repo, but I don't see it in my, is it core? Is it called
in
core?
your what?
In GitHub? Is it /core or?
Yes, so basically the situation with that repository is the following. So first of all, that repository contains access to sensitive information. Like it contains essentially all keys. This is why it is by default set up with access based on the needs. It's possible to contribute to that repository by making a fork. So if you go to any file and you click edit, GitHub will make a copy of that repository under your name, and you will be able to make pull requests the same, but without it being in the main repository. So
Okay.
that's this is not a decision based on a lack of trust, but just a good security practice to not distribute access.
Okay. Sounds reasonable.
Yes, so yeah, the reminder we discussed. Let me think. I think that's oh yes, sorry, just a quick thing. No, never mind. I don't have any other points, announcement, ideas or things to discuss about the speaker's corner. Sorry.
Is there anything else apart from the speaker's corner and the long range colloquium that anybody would like to discuss?
Yes, I replied to the issue. Let me also copy these
Right.
bits.
Yeah. Sorry.
Let me see.
Sorry. Long day. Yeah. Okay.
Yes. So let me just copy a bunch of stuff. This is already addressed. So I've realized that with automating things, one thing that I could nicely automate is opening of the planning issues. So if we want that, the bot will open a planning issue and create a HackMD, and the agenda would be composed later.
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah. Why not?
So we already have a template, but
We have a template, yes, but then
various
that's still
parts of it, yeah.
And we can also indicate who is the so the easiest way to indicate who is chairing is by assigning yourself or the chair to the issue.
I'm sorry. Why would you need to do that? I mean, at that point, I guess the role of the chair is actually chairing and recording and posting the recording. So would we need to assign people to auto-assign ourselves in advance to the issue?
No, there's no need for that. This is just to indicate who is chairing. But actually, good point. There's a yeah, if there's yeah, that's fair. There's no need for assigning chairs. Let's see. So what else? Yes. Also, a quick announcement, which also comes with the question. That's the issue 215. That's the workshop that I've planned to do. That's a tutorial on quantum transport using a software package that we wrote. Actually, the organizers are the original authors of the package. So let's see. Just a moment. So let me briefly share the main points about it. So unlike our previous activities, this is going to be okay, the description also has most of these, but this is going to be a hands-on tutorial, which means it will include like half an hour long exercise sessions with breakout rooms where people can ask questions. And we will have a team of like 15 people to answer questions so far. So we are reaching out to the community members to see who is available. So that's the main point. So these are going to be so we are going to use a cloud service for running the computational environment for participants, which is also going to be a fun experiment. That's the binder. But I think and these are, I think, the main points, or the main points of interest. So which brings me to an actual question. That is, how should we respond to applications?
In which sense?
Meaning,
To
the workshop.
Huh?
To the workshop.
Yeah. So I of course know everything, but let's say somebody else writes this application.
Oh, for the I see. For
Right.
for a hands-on workshop.
Yeah, right. So with Speaker's Corner, of course, there is no question there. The bot replies
Yeah.
and everything
And
goes
also
on.
for conferences, it's also normal style conferences, we know.
Oh no, also conferences. How do we? So what is the procedure of following up on the conferences? So first of all, we should respond with saying that the event is approved.
Mm-hmm.
Or not approved,
Right.
or ask additional information.
I mean,
Right.
should we have checkpoints that?
That's a good point. So we probably should have a checklist.
Not just a
Yeah.
checklist, but checkpoints where we say, look, 2 weeks in advance, we're going to check if you have your speakers in a row and confirm. If not, we're going to have and you don't expect to have them, sorted out, then we'll cancel your event.
Yeah. No, that's a good point. I mean, but at the same time, the timelines do admit some flexibility.
Yeah. So it should be only like, we should have a fairly conservative checkpoint. And of course,
Yeah.
if the answer is no, please explain. It'll be, if the answer is no, there'll be an explanation they can give, and that would trigger a review by someone.
Right. But say there's one most important point, and the main input that we need from the external organizers, and that is creating the event page.
Mm-hmm.
So that would most easily go via a pull request. So first of all, we should respond and saying yes, no, more info.
But then, sorry, my feeling is that because we meet every week, what we would say is thank you, we will discuss this next Tuesday, and then in the meeting we would discuss whether it's yes, no, or more info, and then we would also discuss what the next steps
Yeah, sure. No, I mean, we,
are,
okay,
right?
fair.
Because we meet
I
so
mean,
frequently.
Yeah, all right. So what is it a yes?
I think putting in a checklist. So when a request comes in, application comes in, I think somebody should be assigned to it.
Oh, that's a good
So
idea.
that it's brought up. So maybe we can assign from the team somebody
Yeah.
who will discuss it, and then also post the timeline in the discussion under the application,
Yeah, and in fact,
or a
in the-
checklist basically, and then
right. In the issue that has that checklist, let's say, the responsible person is sort of like, I don't know, we don't want to baby people, like say that the responsible person has to check in with these people once a week or something, I guess. But yeah, how do we have an oversight without being overbearing in this case, I suppose?
I think it would be good to have like a checklist that gives estimates for, timeline.
Yeah,
At this
maybe,
time, it's good to have ready. And then if it's not ready, or we can just check in, say, hey, how are things going? Are these things ready?
yeah, the assigned person will say, oh, it's 4 weeks out and we don't have a website. What's going on?
Yeah.
So that's a good point. And to kickstart the discussion, I have shared our planning checklist with deadlines.
Where have you shared?
It's in the application issue because that's where it belongs.
Right.
Yeah.
So we may want to use it.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds good.
So what do you think? Should we accept this application? If you want, I can step out for if you want to discuss something without, I obviously have
we have to also assign an unbiased monitor to make sure
let's assign somebody.
I mean, I could do it if you consider. I mean, I'm also happy to accompany the event from the Virtual Science Forum side. But if somebody else wants to, I will not insist.
I propose Gala.
I can try and keep on top of it. I'm sure Anton will do a good job.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
So then I hope.
No, I mean, it'll be useful just to have, even if it's only a formality, then at least we can learn.
Yeah, I don't mind. Okay, so
yeah.
I think this is actually a good place where we can, have a friendly exercise. So somebody is assigned, and so on. It's like a drill. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that's a good way to do it. Okay. So then we would say, add a comment to the issue to say this is approved. Your VSF rep who will keep in touch about it is me or something.
Yeah, that's right. There's also a friendly label for approved. If you go to labels, you'll see there's an approved label.
Okay. Is there any unfriendly label for this?
There is no unapproved label, but you can close the issue.
No, unfriendly approved, but approved.
It's a regular labeled.
Okay.
It's a regular label. So.
Approval.
Okay, very good. So it's approved.
All right. So we discussed that. We discussed the regular things.
I guess I'll also assign Anton since you're already here anyway, like within GitHub. Okay.
Assign me? I mean, if you're accompanying the issue, you assign yourself, right?
That's right. But we'll also make you an assignee. Why not? Okay.
I think you can only assign one. No, up to 10 people. Okay, no, that's fine then. Yes, that sounds good.
So there, out of curiosity, there is this milestone section here within the issue.
Mm-hmm.
Is that, say, a type, like, it sounds like a checklist, except that maybe it's more specific to, like, somehow it's a more formal thing that, like, is in the issue timeline rather than a checklist in a specific issue comment. Is that correct?
Right. So a quick explanation about milestones. First of all, there are layers and layers of different concepts involved.
Yeah.
And there are different possible ways to map our workflows and our planning into these concepts. In software development, a milestone typically corresponds to either a version or a feature.
I see.
So, for example, there is now a single milestone that I use to collect everything, all the development related to Speaker's Corner. If you go to the milestones, to the Speaker's Corner milestone, you will see all the open issues.
I see.
Likewise, when people would be opening a new issue that also relates to Speaker's Corner, I would also add it to the milestone.
Gotcha.
You can also see which issues are closed.
Gotcha. Okay, that's helpful. So yeah, not appropriate for a specific issue.
Yeah, it is indeed. So I mean, that said, like, it does not cost anything to create another milestone or approve it. So it's a question of scale. So typically, a milestone will contain multiple issues and multiple pull requests.
Right.
If it's about one issue and one pull request, it's usually an overkill.
Yep. That makes sense.
I think depending on, so if there's a conference that has, you know, various things that need to happen, they could become milestones, right? But I think Speaker's Corner especially maps nicely to that, because there are features that need to be created.
Yeah.
We lost.
So I think that's all about the application, and there is finally. So do we need to discuss anything else here?
I don't think so.
And then I realized I also have another announcement, something I snuck in behind everybody's backs. Namely, if you look at the organizational meeting. So this is motivated by following our previous meetings. Actually, I have even 2 points, but anyway, the sneaking part. If you look at the checklist for the planning issue, you will see that there is now a part called a bullet point called "Convert all action points to issues, assign or mention the relevant people," and that's in the organizational meeting checklist. The reason why I think it makes sense to have there is because we discussed the plans for the next week, but the issue tracker is an easy way to keep up on whether things were done or not. Like, the decisions are reflected in the notes, but the actions make sense to put into the issue tracker, which in practice does mean it's more work to the person who is chairing the organizational meeting, but it seems to make sense.
But then, sorry, in this case, we haven't discussed who's gonna take care of each action, so normally people volunteer a bit. I don't want now to assign stuff.
Well, okay, yeah, that part is so assigning is optional, indeed.
Maybe
okay, right.
You can add a comment and invite somebody.
Well, you can just mention, and you can just mention in text and ask if somebody is interested to look at, or you could, there's also a somewhat deprecated way, but you can talk with people. I know, sorry, never
I
mind,
thought-
forget
thought
it.
You can't have all this low technology ideas coming into.
But it may be, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. It may be good to just, make an announcement on Gitter, for example, and say, issues are open, please, take on or volunteer.
Mhm.
Yeah, right. And also there's another final point that I think that actually Eliška brought up.
Right. We were just discussing that maybe we kind of the like active members of the organization committee has kind of shrunk given how compared to how we started, and that's normal. And this announcements of at the beginning of the colloquium, they do not seem to be very effective. We somehow had people sometimes joining for one organizational meeting, but then never coming back. So maybe we could start thinking about more efficient way of inviting people. And one suggestion would be like what worked for me personally was that when someone asked me to join, and that was kind of like a good push to actually explore it and see if I can be helpful. So I just wanted to bring up if maybe some of you have like a colleague or a friend who you think could be a good addition to the committee, then maybe invite them personally to join, because as you see, the platform is kind of growing and we keep slowly getting more and more work for all of us. So maybe it's time to expand a bit.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Maybe we can
So-
have a, I don't know what they call it, an open call.
That's a good
Also-
idea, perhaps.
I also really like both points, and in particular about directly approaching people who could be interested. I think that's quite all right. We don't have a formal
Yeah, I think the main
governance
point is
structure.
that, right. The main point is that we need people who are motivated and have time. The combination is not always present.
I mean, organizing an open call is in theory zero work, right? I guess. I can imagine just advertising on Twitter that we're having an open house
Yeah.
meeting and everybody can join. And then it's a normal meeting. And if nobody joins, we just have a normal meeting.
Yeah, and but I think that the having time, as Babak is saying, is also partially a matter of, it's not, I mean, it's everyone has the finite time they have, and it's a matter of like, okay, this is what I want to make make part of my time. It's like they have to want to do that to be part of it. That's you have to, that takes some convincing.
Mhm.
I'm not sure.
I think we should recruit Brian.
I tried a little bit
Brian
before, but I
King.
didn't press him very hard. So I think he would be potentially interested. I also tried recruiting my friend Javier, but no dice.
Okay.
Actually, maybe.
Okay, so we should think about who to approach directly.
Yeah, but it's overall, I think it's a great idea to keep in mind, and it's also so it's not a pressing need, but already just remembering this and remembering or keeping in mind that whenever you're talking with somebody, saying or remembering that you can also just invite them to join and say what it amounts to. I think that's already helpful.
Mhm.
one other thing we could kind of consider just like as a future direction, I think it would be good to expand beyond like fields we are all specializing in. We have actually on Twitter lots of followers like that are like doing, I don't know, biology or like stuff like that. It would, I think it would also increase like our reach and our diversity if we would have someone maybe outside of physics in the organizing committee.
Yeah, absolutely. One slight risk with expanding across many domains is that some of our assumptions, like posting on research seminars or a single list for everyone, in particular, a single mailing list for everyone, these don't work super well with as we across multiple fields. So that, but once again, that's a challenge which is better to have than to not have. So.
Mhm.
Right, yeah, yeah, no, this is a great point. Yeah, we would need to make a multiple, like we would need to make VSF chemistry, VSF physics, VSF biology, mailing list, stuff like that, yeah.
Yeah, I think in principle, we have been open to that, or have had that idea in mind, right? Naming and branding reflects that, but yeah, indeed, it's not easy to expand.
I mean, it takes finding someone who's willing to spearhead and gather people. So if we know people in these fields that are willing to, be the new offshoot, then that becomes feasible, I think.
Mhm.
But, yeah.
I think the easiest in that way is probably adding more sub-physics. And we have a more, like, it could start with another colloquium series or something like that.
Yeah, so like we could imagine expanding to astronomy and astrophysics as a subfield, and then high energy as a whole field, right? Things like this. But yeah,
Mhm. Yeah.
depending on what fields are amenable to this sort of thing.
Yeah, that sounds well, okay. The main problem is, of course, finding people who would be interested.
Yep, that's a sort of
Yep.
necessary bit.
I just realized I need to go. I'll follow the cues.
Do we have a volunteer for chairing next week?
I can do it.
Thank you. I get Eliška raise her hand first.
Yeah, that's fine. I can take
So
over next
she
week.
wins.
A week, or I mean the week after.
Okay, so we have scheduled 2 weeks in advance. That's excellent.
Beautiful.
Make a note. Otherwise, next week.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Where to chair following meeting.
Very good.
Perfect. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
And have a good rest of the day.
Thanks.
Yeah. See you, everyone.
Bye.